The stories that define hip-hop culture. You're now locked in to the Terminator Xperience podcast, where hip-hop history meets the culture right now. Hosted by DJ DVS and Minor, alongside the legendary Terminator X. We're talking classic moments, untold stories, and the voices that shape the game. Straight from the source. No filters, no filler, just real conversations and real hip-hop. Turn it up. This is the Terminator Xperience podcast.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Terminator Xperience podcast. I got my main man, Terminator X, and we got my main man, Big Jeff, and on the line with us, we got the legendary, started out in the Funky 4+1 More, and then moved up to...
He said no.
No, there's another group before the Funky Four.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll let him explain it more, but Rahiem, in all the ladies' dreams, how you doing, brother?
Salute.
I'm great.
Yes, sir.
Oh, man.
It's all love. I appreciate it. I started a multimedia company with two partners about 2 months ago, and we're gonna be producing a podcast, and I'm gonna want you guys on the show as well.
Absolutely.
I'm with that.
I'd be honored to be on it. Yes, sir.
So why don't we get started, brother? Why don't you take us back to how you got started and, what got you in love with, hip hop and your humble beginnings?
Okay, so let's say let's start from circa 1975.
Okay.
Gangs were pretty prevalent in New York overall, and definitely in the Bronx. And one of I believe the largest gang in New York City was the Black Spades. They had divisions like how armies have divisions. And so one of the divisions of the Black Spades from Bronx River Projects would come around my neighborhood and rob everything and everybody. And
It's the good old days.
Right. Like rob dudes for their sheepskins or their quarter fields from Lambert houses. That was the development that I grew up in. And they would like hang out in front of their building, be out there the next day wearing their shit.
Wow.
Fact.
And they were a gang, so a lot of people were very fearful, and they didn't really confront them like that. And those who did found out why it probably wasn't a good idea to confront a gang.
Consequences and repercussions.
Exactly. And so, for some reason, one of the OGs of that gang at the time, his name is Spider. Rest in peace. Spider, he was a terror, and everybody around my neighborhood was terrified of him. But for some reason, he was nice to me. He treated me like a younger brother, and he didn't allow the baby spades. When the baby spades came around my neighborhood, he didn't allow them to rob me. And also it was because I was good friends with this dude named Davy Waters, who we call Otto, like Otto. And his brother Wild Man Steve. And I suspect that the Spades didn't mess with them because they moved from Bronx River Projects to Lambert. So they were like family, so they didn't mess with them. And I was best friends with Dave. So that was another reason for them not to really rob me. However, they did son me. They did extort me. They did extort me for my lunch money.
We all went through that.
Once a week. Once a week out of one day out of every weekday, I wouldn't have enough money to really buy the kind of lunch that $5 would buy at the time, because I had to give them $2.50. All right. And my asshole friend Davy Waters would come around to my classroom, and they called me Todd, and he'd yell in my classroom, "Yo, Todd, you owe $250, ha!" And then run out the class and laugh and shit, right? So that was 1975. So from 75 to 78, each time the baby spays came around Lambert houses from Bronx River projects, the majority of them would ride their bicycles.
Mm.
And the path that they would take was laden with broken glass everywhere. And and by the time a few of them got to Lambert houses, they would have flat tires.
Damn.
Wow.
And so once they found out where my mom's apartment was, and that my bedroom door was, they didn't have to deal with my mom by knocking on the 4th floor door and asking her to get me to come to the door. They could bypass her and take the elevator to the 5th floor and walk to the end of the hall and knock on my bedroom door and be like, "Yo, Todd, fix Cecil's flat. Fix little D's flat. Fix Dolan's flat. Fix Mackey's flat."
They put you to work early.
Right, exactly. And so the first time they did that shit, I was like, "Yo, fuck out of here. Fuck, I look like flat fix, right? I'm fixing shit." They was like, "Yo."
That sounds like that was your way in. Yeah.
Right. It was like, "Yo, we a whole gang. We will beat your ass."
Wow.
I was like, "Oh, damn." Suddenly I have a change of heart. And I had 3 older brothers who was like mad, more gangster than these guys, but they were all incarcerated. So I didn't have no goons to back me against them. So I had to be flat fix. So I was flat fix from the summer of 75 till the summer of 78.
Wow.
Okay. So one day, the summer of 78 rolls around, and in I believe January or February of 78, I was in my freshman year at Truman High School, and I had made 2 friends, or a few friends actually by that time. And so I was down with this crew called Master Plan 2 and the Phase 1 crew.
Okay.
And we weren't really a crew because we didn't have 2 turntables and a mixer, but my man CJ, James Lattimore, and his cousin Divine, Eugene Means from Edenwall, James is from Derima, they DJ'd, but they didn't have 2 turntables and a mixer. And I was the MC. But because the backspin hadn't been introduced yet, nor scratching, there was no real way for me to hone my abilities except to try and do it to pause button tapes, which if you were really good at making pause button tapes, you could kind of catch the beat a little bit, but not good enough to like spit 16 to or nothing like that. So basically you either had to find the break beats that had longer breaks,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Or try to do it on a pause button tape. So fast forward, so I'm in Truman High School. It's my freshman year. I meet this guy named Derek Showard, aka DST, who is now DXT.
DXT.
And yep. And another brother named Theron Johnson, who changed his name to Rahiem after I began calling myself Rahiem.
Gotcha.
And so I met them, and D was always trying to get me to come to his parties. He always did parties in Mount Vernon. He was a DJ. or excuse me, he was DJing at that time, and he would try to get me to come to his parties in Mount Vernon. But then one day, Darren, before he started calling himself Rahiem, came to me and was like, yo, this dude that lives on my block, who I'm best friends with his younger brother, Lusaka, named DJ Barron, is looking for an MC. And they have other MCs, but for some reason, the other MCs, they only get on the mic when DJ Breakout is on the turntables. So I'm like, and he said, they got a real dope sound system. You think you'd be interested in auditioning? So I'm like, oh shit, hell yeah, bet. So it was this community center, Boston Secor houses community center in the North Bronx, kind of in between Edenwald Projects and Co-op City. And so they were Brothers Disco, DJ Barron, DJ Breakout, and the original Funky Four MCs, not me yet, were battling against this crew called the Little Brothers in Boston Secor Community Centers, in Boston Secor Community Center. And so upon arrival, I noticed many of the Brothers Disco personnel, they were wearing white sweatsuits with white sweatshirts with black lettering that said Brothers Disco, and then whatever their function was. A lot of guys had on security. I saw women with Sisters Disco shirts, same color, same black lettering. And I noticed some of the members of the Funky Four in this small room off to the left-hand side of the stage. And I could see them very well because I was on, if they were on the stage, it would have been stage right. But from the audience's perspective, it was stage left. So I'm on the left side of the stage and I'm looking into this small room that's on the right side of the stage, and I could hear them on the mic, and they were actually performing, but the majority of the audience couldn't see them.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So I found that kind of odd, but, I just, dismissed it or whatever. And then I got up to, because it was a small stage, and I got up to where the stage was, and I saw DJ Breakout queuing up a record, and I introduced myself to him, and he told me, "Oh, so you're here for DJ Barron? He'll be here in a minute." So I was like, "All right, cool." So Barron comes. I introduce myself. Barron asks me what record I wanted to spit to, and I tell him, "Let's Have Some Fun" by the Barcades. And I distinctly remember that because at that time, that was my favorite record to spit to. And so he got 2 copies of it out of the crates and started queuing it up. And he put a mic stand center stage and a mic in it and was like, "All right, whenever you're ready, just, take center stage and do your thing." And I kind of felt the weight of the world on my shoulder.
I bet. We've all been there.
Even though I was really used to performing already, because prior to that performance, whenever my mom would have house parties at our apartment and she got tired of being the DJ, she would put on James Brown's music or Marvin Gaye's music and have me perform. So I was used to performing in front of people. So I wasn't shy in that regard. It was just the amount of people that I had never performed in front of that many people before. So I I shook off the butterflies or whatever, and told Baron he could cut the record in whenever he was ready, and he cut it in, and I started doing my thing, and maybe about a minute into spinning, the audience was kind of distracted a little bit, but then after a little while, I started hearing ooh ah, and then they were responding, very favorably, and so then I wound up killing the shit, and after that, um, uh, uh, a brother named Richie T, who was one of the actual original members of the Funky Four, came up to me and was like, "Yo, I'm one of the Funky Four, but you're actually an MC. I'm not an MC." He was like, "I want you to take my slot. You a dope MC."
Wow.
I was like, "I bet. That's what's up." And gave him a pound. And DJ Baron, Jazzy D, Breakout's older brother, and Breakout came to me and was like, "Yo, we want you to be down." I was like, "I bet." So fast forward. So the Baby Spades and them, they don't know that I'm Rahiem from from the Funky Four now, right? So they're still coming around my block terrorizing, and when they get a flat tire, right.
You still fix it flat.
Right.
No, not yet, not yet. So check it out. So we, as the Funky Four, when I got down with them, one of the things that helped, because I won't take credit for the full credit, but I know that one of the elements that helped to propel the original Funky Four into receiving the recognition that we got was the fact that I sung and rapped, and no other MCs were doing that to the extent that I was able to do it at the time. I was, imitating Michael Jackson. I don't know. I won't say that I did the best.
Did you do him justice?
The best imitation, but I don't think that I did the worst imitation either.
There you go.
I think that it was sufficient enough to get the attention of audiences who heard it for the first time, and thereafter to be captivated by it enough to give me the recognition at the time of a dope MC.
So
in addition to the rhymes. So now fast forward. So one day, so we rose in popularity pretty quickly, and I was creating all of the Funky Four's routines, anything that had to do with group participation and us singing. That job it fell on my shoulders.
Okay.
Wow.
so
And-
real quick, I know they became the Funky Four plus one more after you left. So now at the time in the group is what, Rodney C, KK Rockwell, Jazzy Jeff, and what's the other guy's name? Goodness.
Keith.
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 Yeah, Keith. So there's no Shy Rock just yet.
No. Sha Rock was an original member of the Funky Four.
Shy Rock, okay. Jazzy Jeff is not the
Jazzy
one
Jeff nor Rodney C were there.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
it was me, KK, Keith, and Sha Rock.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. And so we were the Funky Four, and our popularity rose pretty quickly, and we were doing we played at the MC convention at the Autobahn,
Wow.
one of them, and we did exceptionally well. And then we were one of the first pioneering rap groups to travel to other boroughs to perform. We battled a crew called San Francisco Disco from Far Rockaway. Their DJs were DJ Lucky and DJ Spade. And we spanked them so bad I took I took Lucky's girlfriend.
Whoa.
And so you went to Far Rockaway, battled them in front of their home crowd, and still beat them in front of their home crowd. Yikes!
In front of their home crowd.
Crazy.
Yikes!
Yep.
I want hold your thought. I just want to add that's a good note that you just said, that because I think most people, at least I did, assume that Sha Rock was the +1, but
yeah, me too.
I did too.
Come to find out, no.
She was not
one
the
of the
original. Yeah.
That's
absolutely.
Okay.
So our popularity rose pretty quickly, and we started playing pretty regularly at a club on Gun Hill and White Plains Road that was called the T Connection. That was owned by a man named Richard T. Richard T also owned, rest in peace, he also owned a record shop called Rhythm Den on East Tremont Avenue and Arthur Avenue in the Bronx.
Okay.
And all of the people, all of the crews who played at the T Connection, their sets were recorded by Richard T and then later sold via cassette tape through out of Rhythm Den. So that's how those first tapes circulated all around New York City. Right?
That's what's up. I wanted to salute Smitty Rock because I heard that he was one of the people that used to DJ at the T Connection when it first opened. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
He was a great guy. May he rest in peace as well.
Yes, absolutely. Rest in peace. And so the tapes are circulating of the Funky Four, and so one day the Baby Spades are coming down the hall. I hear the elevator. Right, it's like Debo was coming and shit.
Yikes! Crazy.
And I hear the elevator door open, and my door is the last door. It's a pretty long hallway, just a straightaway though, and my door is the last door on the right-hand side. And so when they get off the elevator, I can hear the boombox, and they're coming down the hall, and I'm hearing the boombox, and I recognize the playlist, and I could tell that it was a party from the T Connection that my group just recently did.
Wow.
So by the time they get to my door, I'm on the mic, on the tape. And so I'm smiling from ear to ear because I know that they don't know it's me. And I open the door and I'm spitting the same rhyme that I'm spitting on tape. I'm spitting it out loud. And they looking at me like I'm a fucking Martian. And they like, yo, what the fuck you know about this DJ Breakout, DJ Baron, the Funky 4MC shit? You don't know shit about this. I was like, that's me. They was like, what? Yo, fuck out of here. What you talking about that shit? I was like, that's me. They was like, yo, your name is Todd. All right, your name is Todd. All right,
Wow.
So who's that? I was like, that's me. They was like, nah, nigga, who the fuck is that? Like, what's your MC name?
That's New York.
They was like, nah, what's your MC name, nigga? Yo, you better not be lying, and we gonna bust your ass.
Oh my God. Wow.
So I'm like, yo, my MC name is Rahiem. They like, yo, get the fuck out of here. Yo, check it out, yo. Stop the tape. Yo, you better say some Rahiem shit right now. You lying, we gonna fuck you up, yo.
Put you on the spot. Extra pressure.
Wow.
So luckily, I had about 3 or 4 black and white composition notebooks filled with rhymes, and I had memorized at least 2, completely 2 books. And I wasn't nervous or anything, and I started spitting, and I think by the time I got to maybe the end of the first rhyme or the middle of the second rhyme, their jaws hit the fucking floor, and they were like, it was like, yo, oh shit, yo, you Rahiem. I was like, yo,
I just
I
told you
told
that.
y'all
I just
stupid
told you that,
motherfuckers
yeah.
I'm Rahiem.
Yeah.
It was like, yo, what's up? Y'all doing a show at the T Connection in like 2 weeks. What's up? We your security. I was like, yeah, that sound about right.
Yes, that definitely
never-
you made
I
an
ain't never
executive
fixed
decision right there.
Wow.
I ain't never fixed another flat tire after that shit unless that
Whoa.
shit was mine.
Thank God for
Word.
that.
Story,
Thank God for
story.
that,
Oh
man.
my
Thank
goodness.
God.
Oh man.
History right there. Oh my
Man.
goodness.
So let's get to the battle. Funky
Okay,
4
so-
versus the Furious 5.
Right. So the battle took place May 11th, 1979
A year
at
later.
the Webster Avenue PAL, 183rd and Webster Avenue, the Bronx. And the Furious 4 and Grandmaster Flash, Disco B, and Easy Mike, they were the number one contender if there were such a thing at the time, because they were the more popular, and we were like the underdogs, right? But we had the whole of North Bronx supporting us, like coming. They came out like the line around the PAL wrapped around the block 2 times.
Holy
Wow.
mackerel.
With the
Crazy.
back guy,
That's
2
serious.
times.
Crazy.
Yes. All right. This is a gym. It's in a gym. You know what I mean?
You guys felt like the Jacksons over there.
Exactly. Yo, word up. So when we pull up in an OJ, because that's how all of the tapes from the T Connection circulated all around New York City. Everybody who rode in an OJ or a community car service or Godfather car service, they heard those tapes that came from Rhythm Den. And so that's how early rap spread around the boroughs. You know, I was at my aunt's house on 202nd and Murdoch one day in St. Albans, and I heard an OJ. It had to be an OJ because they were playing one of our tapes, and at the time, our tapes were just really getting into circulation. I'm talking about the Funky 4, and they were blasting it going down Farmers Boulevard. And I was
Whoa.
like, oh shit. Like,
That's
yo,
amazing.
We famous.
For real. Hood famous at least hood
Yeah,
famous.
man.
Right.
Nah, but
So-
definitely, like, you know, that's amazing. Like, I love the stories that a lot of cats talk about, that, like, going around and, you know, hearing your music and you're visiting family or visiting friends or girlfriends or whatever in other areas of the Bronx or other boroughs, and
boroughs.
people knowing your lyrics and knowing, you know, like, oh, these are different groups and everything. That's really a very important part of hip hop history.
So check this out. So prior to right before Rapper's Delight, record producers and I guess A&R executives from record labels started hanging out on the scene at different rap shows. And they were approaching people about potentially doing a record. And so, you know, we dismissed the idea at the time, because we was like, ain't nobody want to hear this shit on no record, you know? And so maybe a couple of months later, we hear the Sugar Hill Gang's Rapper's Delight. And we were pissed off because we didn't think that they were. Oh, wait, I got ahead of myself. The battle. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Rewind. All right. So, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 4, their manager at the time was a man by the name of Ray Chandler, rest in peace, who ironically was the uncle of Damon Dash.
Wow.
Right. And so Ray Chandler and Darnell, or Jazzy D, Breakout's older brother, who managed the Brothers Disco, got together and discussed the Brothers Disco, DJ Breakout, DJ Baron, the Funky Four MCs, babbling Grandmaster Flash, Disco B, and the Furious Four MCs at the PAL. And so it was set for May 11th, 1979. And we rehearsed for maybe about a month leading up to the battle. And we had a change of clothes scheduled to take place during this battle. We had choreographed dance steps. We had each of us had our own microphones, our own Shure SM55 mics that we had in cases and put in the mic stands when we got to the joint. And we thought that they, the Furious Four and Grandmaster Flash and Disco B, were going to go on last, because they were like the headliners.
Okay.
So they opted to go on before us.
Wow,
And
that's interesting.
retrospectively thinking, I'm thinking they opted to go on before us because they pretty much did all of the things to us that we planned to do to them first. You know what I mean? So basically, if you
try to
know,
steal your thunder.
check me.
right, exactly. You know, they had choreographed dance routines. From what I recall, I think they had a change of clothes, you know, and they were singing songs. Now, they couldn't sing. They couldn't sing, but they could sing chant. And so, you know, and then Flash broke out the beatbox for the first time on our ass.
Wow.
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 And so that kind of took it over the top. So then when it was our turn to go on, all of the things that we had planned to do, I was supposed to lead the battle off with a routine. I was supposed to start the routine. So instead of me starting the routine, I decided to do an Al Iverson, his first year in the NBA, and which is I didn't pass the mic. I got on the mic and I said every rhyme that I had ever written up to that point, because to me, when I looked in the faces of the other members of my group,
They were scared.
they looked nervous.
Gotcha.
And I didn't like that. I didn't like that body language as we were just about to go on stage and perform. So to me, I was like, God damn, like, y'all scared? I didn't say it to them,
Right,
but
right.
I
But
said
you
it to
thought it.
myself.
Yeah.
I
You can
said
see
it
it
to
in their
myself.
face. You can see it in their
Right.
face
Yeah.
that they were nervous.
He stepped
know?
up.
Right. So at first, when I started doing my thing, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Four were in the audience, ice grilling me. You know,
Ice grilling you.
yes,
That's crazy.
right. But then I went so hard for so long, and the audience started cheering me on really hard. Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Four, the ice grills turned to, oh shit, and then eventually they started cheering me on as well.
Wow.
Crazy.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Right. And
That's
so
awesome.
afterwards, I just dropped the mic and I walked off the stage. And I didn't know until recently, like actually last year, that the rest of the Funky Four did not perform.
Holy
Whoa.
I didn't know this story either.
Right.
You know,
So I went to so Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Four were standing stage left, my stage right, because I was on the stage, walking off the stage, so they're stage left. And I come down off the stage and they signal to me hand gestures, and I go over to them and they dap me up and tell me what a dope performance I did. And then maybe 2 or 3 days later, I didn't even know these guys knew where I live, but Melly Mel, and at the time his name was Mr. Ness, he later changed it to Scorpio. They showed up at my mom's house in Lambert Houses and asked me if I would be down to join their group. And
wow.
so,
So Flash wasn't there, but Mel and Scorp were there, or Mr. Ness was
Yes.
there.
No,
That's
yes, they
interesting.
were.
Oh,
Yes.
No, I mean, I know Flash is a part of the group, but Mel and Scorp took the initiative and came to Lambert and they
Yes.
asked you to get down with them. Wow.
Yep.
Wow, this
Yeah.
is historical because I've heard this story.
Exclusive.
I'd known Rahiem for 30 years, and the story that I was told that he said and other people was that they battled, but like the Furious wasn't feeling the other cats' rhymes. Not that they thought they were whack; they just was like, oh, they're okay, but that they loved your rhyme, and that's why they asked you to get down. So, but now
Wow.
you got the truth. They didn't
Yeah.
even get on the mic at all. You just kept going, and
No.
then you won the crowd over and you won them over. That's
Yep.
that's awesome.
Yep.
That's dope.
Wow.
Dope story.
And here you can look at my eyes and shit, so you can see, ain't no capping over here and shit. You know what I mean?
One thing I love about you is that you are not afraid to, call other, DJs and MCs out. Like, I've seen you go back and forth with a lot of cats, I mean, keep in mind that this is the era of 72, 73 to 79,
Mhm.
before records were made. This is now
Right.
47 to 54 years ago. And your memory seems like it's just as sharp, like you could remember every single detail, what people wore, where people were standing, what people like your attention to detail is bar none. So it makes it seem to me that you're 99% accurate, if not 100% accurate in the story and the way you frame the events and the timeline and everything that happened. Like a lot of cats, let's keep it real, let's keep it a buck. A lot of people in that generation were doing all types of drugs, drinking a lot of alcohol. And so it's easy to see somebody forgetting, like, oh, this happened in 79 and come to find out it happened in 80, or this happened in 77 and come to find out it happened in 79. And it's not saying that they're not telling the truth. It's just, it's 50
It
years
was
ago.
so long ago. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And I take all of that into consideration. And when I call people out, oftentimes I'm not doing it to berate anyone or to embarrass anyone or
there's no malicious intent.
or to
There's
put anyone on
it's
the
just
spot.
keeping
Keep it
the
real.
history correct,
Yes.
and
Yes,
accurate.
there needs to be a system of checks and balances within our culture to keep everything accurate, because this is our history, and when we're gone, somebody else who wasn't there is gonna. It's people who aren't there now.
Yep.
People who aren't there now telling it inaccurately. So imagine when we're not here anymore, how inaccurate the story is.
I'm sure all of us here have played the game telephone, where you start off with 10 people or 15 people, and you'd be like, I say to Mix Match, like, oh, I went to the store, and Mix Match goes to Terminator X to buy such and such, and by the time it gets to you or 2 or 3 people,
And then it just
the store is not even there. They didn't even took out the store part, which is the first thing that you started off with. That you were at the store, like now it becomes like I went to the park or I went to school or whatever, and so it's important to me that you guys are the gatekeepers. I mean, there's only 50 probably or 100 cats that were really out there in the park doing it and doing it well, in terms of keeping this culture alive. MC wise and DJ wise, and some have passed, unfortunately, but I feel that you're one of the people that has the history 99%, if not 100% accurate. And I love the fact that you call people out on it. And like you said, in a non-malicious way.
Well,
You know.
at first I try, I do it as, non-malicious, non-threatening as possible because, I know that most of the people who are making the commentary and, trying to tell our story weren't there. And so I'm trying to help them tell it accurately because I was there.
Everybody was at 1520 Cedric for court.
Right, exactly. You know what I mean?
I was there last August 11th, a week ago. That spot only holds 50 people, maybe 75. So everybody that said they were there couldn't have been there,
Exactly. I know for a fact I wasn't there. I didn't become an active practitioner in the hip hop culture until 1978. Okay. And I make that very clear.
Yeah, and you're in high school at this point. At that point, you're in high school. Yeah.
Right. I became an MC in 1978, and it just so happens that my toy time, all right, that's a term that we used back in the days to label or put a timeline on the amount of time that it took to become recognized as opposed to your toy time. So a lot of us count our toy time as part of the time that we gained recognition, and that's not true.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to put those dudes on the spot, those people on the spot either, but again, there has to be a system that we use in order to, to label who goes where and what categories and such, because everybody's not a pioneer.
Yes, that is correct.
That's right.
There's, everybody who made a significant name for themselves are legends, all right? But everyone is not a pioneer.
That's facts.
That's deep too. Very deep.
If we go into, definition to define the word pioneer, then it says, trailblazers, people who trailblazed a specific discovery, a place, a formula, that sort of thing.
Had
right?
like an impact.
So I want to throw this out there. Some people will be mad at me for saying this, but let me give you an example of what you're talking about. Let's say the Sugar Hill Gang, for instance. They was one of the first to record a rap record, but they was basically, Sylvia was imitating y'all.
Correct.
You understand what I'm saying? So y'all are the true pioneers.
And Kaz wrote 1/3 of the lyrics, correct?
Rapper's Delight.
Correct.
Yes, and a very small piece of Big Bank's Hank lyrics also came from me.
Okay.
Oh wow,
that's another history.
Which I got from H-Rap Brown. One of my older brothers and H-Rap Brown were incarcerated together, and H-Rap Brown gave my older brother Eric, or Ishaq Islam, a book to give to me, and he gave it to me, and I took that rhyme out of H-Rap Brown's book and I used it in my rhymes. Whoa. And it got popular. That was one of the rhymes that made me pop off in the Bronx. I'm hemp the dimp, the women's pimp, women fight for my delight.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
I never knew that.
And the first person to bite it was Busy B, respectfully. All right.
Busy been in about 25 hip hop groups.
But that's how we met. That's how we met.
Busy has been with every group,
Right. He was on the mic at Disco King Mario's jam at Junior High School 123, and Disco King Mario, rest in peace, invited me to his jam to get on the mic, and I was down with the Funky Four, and that was kind of unheard of at the time, because if you was down with one crew, you barely even went behind the ropes of another crew, let alone got on their mic. But that was to show how up and coming I was. So So Disco King Mario invited me to 123 to get on the mic. And when I walk in 123, I'm hearing some of my rhymes being spit. And I'm like, oh, shit, what the fuck? So I...
Was it busy? Was it busy?
So I rushed to get
Whoa.
behind the ropes. I finally get behind the ropes, and I see this dude on the mic, and he's spitting my rhymes.
Whoa.
And I tap him on the shoulder. I'm like, bruh, what are you doing? Like, that's not your shit. Like, those ain't your rhymes. He was like, yeah, that's this sucker nigga Rahiem. I was like, what?
I am him.
Right.
Oh,
That's
wow.
exactly what I said.
Wow.
He kept saying my rhymes.
Wow.
And I heard back then it was a crime to bite. I was
It
told.
really was.
Wow.
But he made I'm Hemp the Dip, the women's pimp, his own after I did. and then Big Bang Hank.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Kumo D spoke on it,
Facts.
biting around.
Yeah,
Come on,
Busy.
I still love Busy B.
Yeah,
Busy-
man.
But,
Busy is the party starter.
that's
all
right. That's right.
Busy B is the party starter. You want a party started,
Yeah.
call Busy B.
Ball
He
with
goes,
the ball.
KRS-One had something interesting to say. I know that there's issues with his timeline and everything, but one thing I feel that is partially true, it's not 100% true. When Kumo D and Busy B battled in a couple years later in 81, had Busy B won, who knows how much longer cats would have started with the bar, like starting their rhymes off that way. I felt like the craft elevated when Kumo D took him out, and like cats weren't doing it as much, starting their rhymes with that. Do you agree or disagree with that?
Only two cats, or excuse me, no, three cats that I know really used that style, and that was Busy B, that was Love Bug, rest in peace, and Cowboy.
Gotcha.
And excuse me, and DJ Hollywood.
Yes,
right?
DJ
Yep.
Hollywood. Yes.
So now that style was popular amongst people, amongst the MCs who had the ability to go back and forth in and out of disco and hip hop, right? But like I didn't do that. Nobody in the Funky Four did that. That wasn't a thing of any of the North Bronx MCs coming up during that time that I know of, like the L Brothers. They were South Bronx crew, but they didn't do that.
You guys were more you guys were more of the lyricists,
correct.
pioneers.
Right. Yep.
Rather than the party
Party rockers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Cowboy was a party MC. He wasn't really he didn't really have a lot of rhymes. But he definitely was the crowd motivator.
Yeah, I've heard that multiple times.
Yeah.
And he's also, along with Lovebug Starsky, credited with coining the phrase hip hop.
Hip hop. Yeah, well, so he was paying homage to one of his homies on the mic that was attending the jam that they were giving, and in paying homage to him because his homie was going to the military, he called cadence on the mic like soldiers march. Yep. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
And so that's where the whole premise came from.
That's going to do it for this episode of the Terminator Xperience podcast, hosted by DJ DVS, Minor, and the legendary Terminator X. Make sure you subscribe, rate, and leave a review, and tap in with us on social media for clips, updates, and behind the scenes. Until next time, keep the culture first, keep the sound heavy, and keep it locked right here.